Well, hello to all you very lovely people out there across the information superhighway. My name is Sam, and I'm back to bring a mind-bending, long-talking, heart-stopping array of media as I welcome you to the amazing Weird Mind newsroom, where I cover an array of all the new releases, trailers, and news that some of you may have missed or forgot about over the last week. So let's waste too much time, let's get right into the show of all things media that we have for this week. Now, our first of the new release of the week, it will be time to head over to my all-time favorite studio in the realm of animation, as it will be time once again for us all to return back to the days of our childhoods. We head back to the toy box and reminisce on our old playthings of yesteryear. But it seems in the modern day that sense of an ordeal starts to become less and less, and with the focus of the new item in mind, it could see that the age of toys may be coming to an end. Or is it? As we are back with our favorite toys once more, as we find out the release of the 5th entry of Toy Story. Now, the new film will follow on from the events of the last one, with Woody having left behind to help abandoned toys find new owners with Bo Peep, and has made Jessie the leader of the toys, with Buzz as her second in command. Soon, the age of toys may be coming to an end, as Bonnie has now become enamored of a new favorite plaything of a frog-like tablet named Lilypad. Now, reception in the 5th entry, like the previous 4, has been very well received with praise on the animation, the performances, the story, emotions, heart, and humor, and seen as a worthy entry in this series, even if it's a case that some people feel like the 3rd film was the perfect ending, and is proving that the quality of the franchise is still there. And if you want to check it out for yourself and reminisce about childhood, you can check this film out now in cinemas. On the side of video games for this week, things will be getting a little more whimsical on a fantastical adventure that will tell quite the tale across the many centuries of the past and into the future, as a new RPG tale will be taking place for you to explore, as you have the release of The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales. In a scented land known as Philabilia, known for many roaming beasts, the player will control the titular character and his fairy companion the Fae, as you are tasked to explore some recently discovered ruins outside the protective walls of humanity's last bastion, where you'll come across a powerful artifact known as the Doorway of Time. It will connect the past and future to the present and will send you on a journey across space and time. The reception's new title seems to be very well received with praise on the visuals, gameplay, and narrative, and some even have compared it to some titles like The Legend of Zelda. If you want to see it for yourself, you can play this title now on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, and PC. The last of new releases in focus covers both a series in both TV and web, and in the case this conclusion to a show has quite the roller coaster of opinions initially leading up to the release, from a planned cinema release to the rumours and a full leak from one country that caused a divide. We have finally made it to the end of the journey, and the stage is set for all to take their final bow. As after 3 months since the last episode and across a 3-year journey, we have the release of the finale to the amazing digital Circus, which is also known as the last act or Remember. And following the events of the conclusion of the previous episode, the circus is now dark and starting to fall apart, and the cast is left with the traumas of their past to keep them company. As the prospect of eternity closes in around them, they will soon discover the truth of the history of the digital circus and decide if they will come to terms with the truth that they will discover, or they will choose the other option. Reception's finale has quite the array of opinions, especially when the episode leaked. Though it seems that with the finale released this week, it seems a bit more of a positive outcome, with a bit of a mix to praise on the animation, voice acting, narrative, and for trying up some lingering questions seen across the series, even if some issues stem from feeling a little too rushed, and it can be a little mixed to some in the outcome, and some questions not always fully answered. Now, I did see this when it released in cinemas in a full screen to myself, and I watched it live with a group on Twitch I hosted, and it's quite a send-up, and I shall not lie, I did get emotional from both watches and from watching it again. I'll be reviewing this real soon in due time. And if you want to see it for yourself, where it all comes to an end, who knows, maybe we'll see a return. I kind of have a fear into that regards of things. Then you can watch the full series now on YouTube and Netflix. And for all that regards now, that's all the new releases that we do have this week.
I'm making waffles.
Now, it really seems like an animated heavy first half of this week as we're heading into trailers, and the first one was a little bit title I was not expecting to see a trailer or even teaser for this early, but after last delay, it seems like they have some potential to hope and appeal for this franchise that I'm sure has a few layers for this approach to the release. As everyone's favorite big green ogre is back once again, as we receive the first trailer for the upcoming 5th film of Shrek. Now, while the plot details have not been given, the trailer gives some indication that Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, and Shrek's 2 sons of Fergus and Farkle will be off on a journey to a new place called further away to help rescue or find out what has happened to their daughter and return home safely. And I'm sure that a fair amount of hijinks will soon ensue. So it's been around 16 months since we last saw any sense of a focus to this new entry of the series, and it's been said that the opinions of this have been a lot to say, at least from the follow-up from a decade and a half to develop it, the appeal back to it after the Great Puss in Boots sequel, and then the big debate being in the slightly altered designs of the main cast that personally, after a while, I'm not complaining on it too much. I actually don't think they're too bad. It would be like they would look like from a 4K style animation going on lately. Plus, I would say it's my fear to still be reverse Disney, where DreamWorks was more realistic initially than Disney were cartoonish at the time, but now it's reversed with both studios. And personally, I do not mind this new look, and I feel it could have some appeal on Fun Adventure, and the look past the slightly tweaked designs, it still has the same appeal anyway in the regards of things, but I'm sure we'll get used to it, the look in due time, and the film's release when it's making its way into cinemas from the 30th of June next year. But speaking of Disney, our second trailer of this week will see a bit of something spellbinding, magical, and in some case we'll also see a bit of drama-filled outcome of discussion, which seems like the norm these days, and some of them are a bit unnecessary of a thing. But in this regards, they seem to be wishing up a spell in this case, as we finally gotten the first look at the upcoming yearly animated release from Disney with their trailer for Hexed. Now the film follows Billy, voiced by Haley Steinfeld, an impulsive, unconventional teenage girl who discovers she has magical abilities that take her from suburbia into Hex, a realm of witches. With her cautious mother Alice, she investigates family secrets that connect to the world of witches. Now I do have to say that the look of the top from the characters in the hidden world does look pretty appealing and interesting, and I will not fault them on that part. The real sense of the drama of this film has caused with a fair amount of people online is due to the people comparing this title to another project from Disney, and that was with The Owl House, which is a very popular show that was cancelled by Disney because it was full of diversity and a same-sex relationship, and the contrast of the magical world and the sense of witchcraft focus has caused a lot of divide. Now I do see both sides of this, and I will say it is too early to really judge the title, which seems also like the norm these days. If it's not interested to get it, don't try and ridicule those that are excited for, or just be respectful in that regards to think that people have their opinions. And I feel it could appeal and make Disney realize the mistake of The Owl House ending on their own terms. But I guess we'll see by its release of this new film when it comes out in cinemas from the 27th of November. Our last of our trailers this week is the focus of superheroics, as we were time to return to a character who has been quiet for a fair few years, which does make a little sense as everyone in the world forgot who he is. But in this case, we'll be catching up on what they have been up to for the last bit of time, and see that these changes are happening that could be a major effect on him mentally. As we have what I see is the second and final trailer for the upcoming fourth MCU entry for this character with Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, following the events of the spell that Doctor Strange cast at the end of No Way Home, the world has now forgotten that Peter Parker exists and the identity of Spider-Man. 4 years later, he protects the city of New York as the iconic wall crawler, but soon the overwhelming pressure of crime fighting ignites a threatening physical evolution in Peter, forcing him to deal with this while also investigating a series of crimes that lead to a more powerful threat. There's definitely been quite an array for the hero himself for the last little while, especially with seeing another entry for this hero in an ever-growing saga, and it really seems they are going all in and being worth away for the likes of some other Marvel characters appearing, including Punisher and a return to Savage Hulk. There's some other new additions that are being kept secret and looking to possibly tease a transformation for Spidey, either from a symbiote infusion or possible man-spider transformation, if they have the balls to do so and being that dark. But it really does seem like we are in for something that has everyone excited for the MCU in this regards of things, but I'm sure we will see by the release of this film at the cinemas when it comes out next month on the 31st of July. But with all that regards now, that's all the trailers we have this week.
I made all my money on oil and Fallout games!
So the good news for you all this week is that it's not a massive news section, as we were all done with the new form of the E3 period this summer's Games Fest behind us now, until the next solo presentation down the line. But we do have a selection of stories on the focus of the hodgepodge and media news that really just most consist the areas of casting and project updates and announcements to focus on, and there's a few near balance of both sides, but let's see what was unveiled for this week in particular. So we will start on the side of casting. Initially I was going to talk on this one last week, but I felt the weight on this was to not overdo the length even more on that last episode, but this time to talk another mystery to be solved, but in this case heading to a little abroad, as we have some casting news in relation to the upcoming 6th season of the popular comedy murder mystery series of Only Murders in the Building. They'll be taking a trip across the pond to London, where they are currently filming as of writing this episode, what I've seen from bits online. Now, like with any other show seasons, besides our main core trio and some other residents of the Arconia, they often have a selection of guest stars appearances. Well, we've had like 1 or 2 per season. This one is bringing out the big guns, with not 2 or even 5, but 21 currently confirmed guest stars for this 6th season, with the cast consisting of one half of Fred and Saunders from Jennifer Saunders, Sean Teal from Skins, Simone Ashley from Bridgerton, Amar Chandra Patel from Willow, Ray Norwood from Heartstopper, Matthew Beard from Imitation Game, Sharon Hogan from Motherland, Jerry Howell Horner or Ginger Spice, Martin Freeman from Sherlock, Jamie Dimitriou from Fleabag, Anjana Fassan from Wicked Little Letters, Jane Horrocks from Absolutely Fabulous, Derek Jacobi from Gladiator, that's Nicole from Downton Abbey, David Tennant or Doctor Who himself, Nicola Coughlan from Derry Girls, another Doctor with Jodie Whittaker, Jim Broadbent from Paddington, Rich Iowati from IT Crowd, Adrian Lucas from Pride and Prejudice, and Catherine Hunter from Poor Things. Now, that's quite a selection of names and of Irish, British, and international talent all set to make an appearance on this upcoming season. And it makes me think of this as sort of a final season by going all out with this massive guest star list. But I feel it's unlikely to happen at the moment, and I feel if we see a continuing narrative beyond this, hopefully, I wonder what type of character they will be playing and how they will be connected in some way to the newest victim of the season. But I guess we will find out in due time. Now, I'm not sure if there's any more names planned for the series or if we see the next season by this year's end, but I'm sure if we see any in due course. If you hear anything else about this, I'll provide that in a later episode. Our next casting focus will be the first of the gaming adaptation news this week, and the first will be taking us to a sense of being the one that created a man that is causing major carnage and destruction for the purpose of entertainment in this world of all-out car-wrecking chaos. As announced that a new casting has been made for the upcoming third season of Twisted Metal, and is with Luke Skywalker himself of Mark Hamill, who's been cast in the role of being the father to Sweet Tooth. The ideas of the casting is an interesting one. I do wonder if there's some form of an all-new made character of the show that has appeared in some form in the gaming series itself, like a previous entry of the series, or it could be an interesting focus of like an all-new character, but it's an interesting cast in the series and could appeal in the likes of a series that was a bit uncertain in the appeal at first, but came out surprisingly entertaining. So I guess we'll kind of see in that regards. Now at the moment, we are unsure if this is the only planned casting for this new season or when we can expect this new season as well in particular, because they only think they started filming. But once you hear anything about it, I'll provide in a later episode as well. Our next casting story is a focus to the realm of fantasy, in the case that while we are preparing for return to the world of a different fantasy location next week, we are focused to the world and lore that inspired it. And in this regards, we have some new news in relation to the upcoming casting of the new film of the Lord of the Rings series with The Hunt for Gollum, as was announced that actress Anya Taylor-Joy will be joining the upcoming film. Now, not much is known on her character other than the case that she'll be playing a high elf known as Sinan, and I guess will connect to the likes of some of the other characters of the elves and the race in Middle-earth, and could be connected to the likes of Legolas in some of that regards of things. Personally, I have not much of an issue with this casting, as she's proven she fits in well with the realm of fantasy from previous films and titles across different locations and franchises, and I'd be interested to see what she will bring to this title and the world of Middle-earth itself. Now, I'm sure we will get a proper look at the character once the film goes deeper into production, which I think it's filming right now, I have no idea. But sure, if anything else is confirmed or others are added to the series, then I'll let you know down a later episode. The last of the casting news is with the second edition of casting in the realm of video game adaptations, and this one will still be in the setting of a post-apocalypse, but more in the world full of vaults, jumpsuits, and massive mechs and strange creatures, as there's been an announcement of a trio of new casting additions for the upcoming third season in the Fallout TV adaptation. The confirmation of Manny Jacinto, who you may know from Star Wars The Acolyte, Emily Mortimer, who you may know from Paddington in Peru, and Thomas and McKenzie, you may know from Last Night in Soho, all being announced to be joining the cast for this ever-growing season. Now, it seems like it's unclear who they will be portraying in the show, as it could be some familiar faces from the series of games, some other vault dwellers from a different vault in the Wasteland, or maybe someone completely original for the series in the form of an ally or antagonist. But I guess we'll have to see what will come of this as they plan to prepare to start filming later this month or in July. Now, I'm sure we get an idea of who they are in due time, as is who else we may be cast in this upcoming season and the planned release. But once you hear anything about this as well, I'll provide that in a later episode too. Now, heading over to the side of project announcements and updates, this first one was quite a surprising one to be seen made in this regards for a lot of reasons. But I guess after their hard group resizes, they seem to be fine to return back again for more. As was announced this week that we are getting a sequel to the live-action take on The Grinch. It was confirmed that both Jim Carrey will be back as the titular character, and the film will be directed by the original film's director of Ron Howard. Now, I'm surprised in the case for two reasons. With this, firstly, I thought that Carrey had retired from acting, bar of course when Paramount comes calling him another Sonic the Hedgehog movie script as he plays Eggman. Neither would be surprised for him to get back in the makeup chair for that Sue, as from interviews and discussing the project over the last few years, it was a nightmare to deal with. So unless he's putting up with the makeup again, or they're going to the approach of like more visual effects heavy in this regards of things, it's unclear as of right now. Now, I do wonder what will come from the sequel. The likes of this will be like an adaptation of the other Grinch short of Halloween Night is Grinch Time, or if it'd be a new original story of like Grinch being a father or husband and some other new creature has caused a problem for Whoville that he has to stop, or maybe you'll find his real family or something like that regards of things. But it's hard to say right now, but it could be worth seeing what will come from this project itself. Now, it's all early days right now. We have no idea when we will see this, but I'm sure if I hear anything about this later down the line, I'll provide that in a later episode too. Our next project announcement or update, we have a focus to an update to the project of a director who has been a little quiet on their end in terms of what is next for them. And that is with the actor turned award-winning director Jordan Peele. Now, Peele's last directed film was 2022's Nope, a film I still want to give a review to on that regards, and since it has been a bit of a journey to hear when we can expect his next directorial outcome, as he's been a producer on a few films like Monkey Man and Him, as initially set for December 2024 and then pushed to October 23rd this year before it was removed from the calendar at a point in time last year, and many had wondered when we will hear anything else. Well, thankfully, some news has finally come about that it seems that Peele is on track again, has finally crafted a concept and story that he has appealed to him in this regards, as the film is now planned for this year. It was scrapped as the concept was not really fully working for him. It seems now we have hope for his fourth directed film is well on the way, and it's one I am excited to check out, as I really do enjoy his films that has released so far, and I'm interested to see the concept of what it is, or if it will connect to some other previous engine. I guess we'll see in due time. Now, for all we can do is speculate what it all is and try and figure out what we can expect in this new movie, but on when we release and who's in it, but I guess wanted to hear anything about this, we'll let you know down the line. The last of the project announcements is another director that has making a name for themselves around the same time that Peele was also making a name, and that is with the director of Ari Aster, the man behind Hereditary and Midsommar. Now, it's been a case that earlier this week we've gotten a bit more about his next project, as some new news has come out about the plot concept for his next movie known as Scapegoat. The concept of the plot feels a lot to discuss. The narrative seems to be a focus that the main lead, which in this case is Scarlett Johansson, is playing a surgeon who must perform where she is tasked to perform surgery on a character that has been described as a Jake Paul type, and saying that already hurts. But complications of the surgery cause their death, and soon the film will follow the fallout and scrutiny of the death by the character's wife and brother, who are supposed to be inspired by Logan Paul and Erica Kirk. Now, this sounds like a basic premise, but the use of the choice in the focus, death, and the relatives just makes it a bit overwhelming. As I will say this, I don't really like these people. The Paul brothers are obnoxious for many reasons, and Mrs. Kirk has been a little insane since the assassination of her husband almost a year ago. And trust me, seeing uncensored videos of that assassination just drop out of nowhere on my TikTok and social medias was very unsettling response to things, and like her response to shit has been weird, from forgiving the killer, being pissed off at someone asking a simple question, and trying to advocate for being a mother but really neglecting her kids. So seeing this as a template will probably be a little to take on, and I hope it will be a case the director will be more of the not being a fan of these people than being supportive of them, because it just seems a bit mad. Now, this case will be that I'm sure it could be a decent watch, and Aster's films have been known to get more and more weirder as they release, so I'm sure it'll have some in-depth focus to all, but I guess we will see by then. Now, there's no planned release yet, or when we will, who do you have in mind to star those other characters, but once you hear anything, I'll provide that in a later episode too. But what are your thoughts on these stories? Do you see this as being the last of the cast for season 6, and will it be more and more? Which of them do you see as the killer? What are your thoughts on the casting of Hamill in Twisted Metal? Will I Enjoy Joy fit in well with the world of Middle Earth? Who do you think these three additions will play in Fallout? Will we be watching the new Grinch sequel? What do you think the concept of Peele's next story will be? Does Aster's plot sound interesting? Does it feel a little excessive? Let me know what you think down below. In all that regards, that's all the news we have this week.
And don't forget who's running the show!
And now, in case in regards of all things, that ends episode 161 of My Newsroom. Hope you enjoyed my ramblings for probably around 20 minutes or so, give it a take. Now, let's give a quick fire round updates of what we can expect coming up on the channel. So, reviews. Those are coming along eventually. I'm just going to finish up the last one. I'm going to go straight onto Digital Circus and I'll do Has Been after that. I'll do some film reviews in those regards as well. I can throw in Disclosure Day onto the list of films I have to cover, like Backrooms, I still need to go see, Obsession. Probably seen Supergirl this week, but we'll see. Let you know later down the line, but those regards of things they'll be coming along as well as more snack-sized box office ones, a few films I don't really have too much to talk on, as well as a case of different genres and all different things and lengths and stuff. So look forward to those in due time. But just some of them take time to write and stuff that just kind of errors. Gameplay wise, I'm going to be doing some more Tomodachi Life, so I'm going to upload some of the VODs onto my YouTube in that regards of things. I need to check to see if there's another one that has to be taken off my Twitch before it gets deleted. There'll be more DK Bonanza, more Mario Wonder, more Cyberpunk, more Star Wars, and new games like Ventilate. We're going to do some more Resident Evils. We're going to do some other titles and stories and stuff with that regards of things, so look forward to those. I'm just trying to figure out a few different methods and stuff and then do some fan games. They'll be done from like normal recordings of a few things as well as on Twitch, so go follow the Twitch as well and help like with that regards of things. In the case of long form stuff, the rewatch-a-thon is still going to happen. The AI on choice video is still happening for someone. I still promise them that. The Horror Mode Sport is happening. Anticipate Media Eyes moved to the start of next year because it's just, I feel at this rate too late to really do Anticipate Media of 2026 when it's like we're the end of June. As well as the case of some other stuff like the next time this video I actually started. I have done about, I say about a quarter of it done already, so hopefully come regards of things, just going through it and just time-lapsing it, so hopefully maybe the end of this week or the start next week. We'll see that regards of things, see how busy I am. As well, a few other long-form stuff coming, so look forward to those. But that regards, now I'm going to episode there for now. So if you like what you see here, want to see more from me more frequently, then simply like, subscribe. I upload new stuff every single week. The aim for 750 to 1,000 subs, so all support would be greatly appreciated by the end of this year if I can reach that goal, but I appreciate all the support, views, likes, comments, whatever the case. Let's build a nice community here. If you want to get yourself 10% off Pure Crack, use my code Sam Harrison. That's all one word, all caps, all together. Link down in the description to get yourself a tasty beverage. It keeps you energized, keeps you motivated, helps you sleep, all the good stuff. As well as the case, then let me know your thoughts on everything discussed this week, from new releases, trailers, and news stories this week as well, to give your thoughts on the things if you've seen any of them and what your thoughts on them are. But with that regards, I'll end it there for now. So as always, you will stay wonderful people, have a great day every day, doing many great things, keeping you because no one else do what you do, and take care of yourself because mental health is very important. Now, I've been your host Sam, of course, and I see you all in the next one. So take care, and I'll see you later.